Yeah, exactly. Only then make more fun.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get started while Maureen is doing something on the computer. So. Call the meeting of the North Reading School Committee to order. Mrs. Varka will be back shortly, but in her stead, I will get the meeting started. And our first item of business is public input. Do we have any public input at this time? Seeing none. Next, we'll move to our student report, and we have Chrissy Smith from the class of 2010.
All right, so first thing is boys and girls basketball qualified for states last week. Cows for track is this Tuesday. Junior course selection was, I think they had the assembly last week, so they're selecting their courses for their last year at North Reading High School. Cows for swimming was this Sunday, and we had 2 male swimmers place, and they got medals, and then also we had 4 qualifying teams for sectionals, which are this Saturday at MIT. And so we had a lot of swimmers qualify for that. Report cards were mailed on Thursday of last week. February vacation is happily next week. Many winter sports teams are ending soon, like this week, and some end next week, but most of them end this week. National Honor Society forms for juniors were out, and they have to get teacher signatures and write different letters and all that type of stuff to apply for National Honor Society for their senior year. Mock trial had 2 trials over the past month, and I'm unsure of the outcomes, but I know that they did have those trials. Model UN is debating conflict diamonds sometime this week. Alliance is selling bracelets to raise money for Haiti. That's good. Chorograms are for Valentine's Day, and that's when the chorus goes around and sings different songs. People pay for them for Valentine's Day. And then Student Council is also selling iFlirts and carnations also for Valentine's Day. SAD volleyball, or SAD, which is the Students Against Destructive Decisions, has a volleyball tournament, and their sign-ups are this week. And then rehearsals for the Maskers musical Pirates of Penzance the rehearsals are underway, and the kids are fundraising so they can get money to actually put on that production. So they're in the process of all of that. And then for my student work, I'm going to talk about Advanced Placement Government class. It's the Advanced Placement Government class at North Reading High School, and what we're doing this week and the week we come back is we're having a fantasy Congress draft. So what we do is we picked two senior senators and 2 junior senators, and then 6 House of Representative members, and we did like a whole draft, kind of like football, fantasy football, but with Congress members. And so if they talk at a meeting, or if they propose a bill and it gets passed, or if they vote on a bill that their party put up, then we get different sort of points with that. And the objective is to have us watch closely, more closely than we probably ever will after that, what's happening in Congress, and just following our different 8 representatives. So it's that work.
Sounds interesting. I hope you follow Congress closely as you grow up and continue in the world. So sounds like fun.
Any questions for Chrissy at this time? I don't know why you're in such a hurry for February vacation. You're a senior, so the year's practically over, right?
It is practically over.
It's very positive sounding, isn't it?
Very close to the beginning.
Yes.
Only like 70 days left for seniors or something like that.
It is. I have it written down.
Very
We can countdown.
Very close.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Thank you.
She's also been accepted to school.
Congratulations.
Very
Northeastern for
Yes.
nursing. We're waiting on a couple of other schools.
It's great.
good. Very good.
That's great.
It's a good place to go.
Yeah. I think at this time, we should probably take our agenda out of order. I know Maureen is out trying to print up a document, but I'd like to bring up, since the building committee is here, are you okay with that, Keith?
Sure,
Getting-
absolutely.
Not having them wait through some of these other items. So why don't we bring the building committee up, the members that are here, come up to this table, bring your chairs up. Sure. And then what we'll do is we'll let Dr. Manville bring everybody up to speed as to where we are right now, and basically what we need to do, I guess, moving forward in the next month or two. And here comes Mrs. Vaca back, so she can take the meeting back over. Perfect timing.
You want to put the collate or something?
And we're gonna add something else.
Thank you. Perfect
I-
timing. Thank you.
I just set it up so Keith can bring us up to speed on where we stand right now with the MSBA.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. We are continuing fulfilling the requirements. It's mostly paperwork right now that MSBA is upon us. I left in the packet, I think, an email I got from Diane Sullivan about enrollment and expanding the enrollment figures that we submitted in November. There are a list of questions and requirements on that list, but I have not gotten back to Ms. Sullivan, but I intend to, because I don't think that all the stuff on that list is applicable to what we do. For example, the second bullet on that list is to identify any potential grade reconfigurations. Well, we're not going to have any potential grade. We don't have any grade reconfigurations, excuse me. Some of the other stuff is I don't think I have to worry about pre-kindergarten, talking about high school and middle school, that kind of thing. So I'm going to get in touch with her, and probably by the end of this week, if not, then definitely next week, and just go over the ones I don't think are applicable to the projects we have, and then we'll put together the answers. Otherwise, we're still working on the other forms. Mr. Nelson and Wayne are working on the school maintenance forms and the contracts we have and putting that together. And actually, we hope to have a phone call from Brad Dorr of Dorr and Whittier, who's going to come down and help us put it in the proper format to submit it. The town has been very helpful, and they have taken over a form on 10-year capital improvement and other issues that they can better answer than we can. We're going to work on the secondary school building council tonight. Most of the other forms are in various stages of completion, and I would think that we should have everything ready to go as far as the forms are concerned back to MSBA probably sometime around the middle of March. The only other thing I want to point out to you is that at the last meeting I said I'd spoken with a colleague of mine who had said that she thought $100,000 would be was what a feasibility study would cost, and I ran that by Mr. Dorr when we met with him last week, and he said, well, if you put it all together, the hiring of the manager and doing the feasibility study and all the other assorted costs, we're back to the original figure that I had given the committee of $1 million. It's going to be close to $1 million. I had a very brief discussion with the town administrator on that as to how we might try and figure out how to come up with $1 million or access it. We didn't have any conclusions or come up with any definitive ideas, but I just told him what Brad Dorr thought that the price was going to be, and so he's thinking about ways to do that. That's about it. So what we need to do is, you all have a list of the people who are required to be in the building committee now, and I think it's expanded. It has more members than the previous building committee, so I think what we should do is see where people fit in different slots and see if they're still interested in staying with the secondary school building committee and going forward from there.
There is a list of specific skill sets for members, and we're not aware if any of you apply. We know a couple of you will. For instance, an SBC member who is MCPPO certified, and we believe that the town administrator, Greg Balakonis, is a course short of becoming certified. And from what we've learned, he is willing to be a member on the building committee. Another is a local CEO, Chief Executive Officer. So we will, none of you are, we will need to fill that role. An administrator or manager, school committee member, and we have Jerry. Superintendent of schools, which by the time this is up and running will be the new permanent superintendent. So when we interview for superintendents, we will have an eye towards somebody with building project experience or knowledge of the reimbursement process. A local official responsible for building maintenance, which is Wayne Hardiger, our superintendent, buildings and grounds. A representative of office authorized by law to construct school buildings.
I have no idea what that means. I mean, some of these, what does that mean? An office that's authorized to construct school buildings? You have any idea, Carl?
No, I don't.
No. So you're in the same boat as
Right.
we are.
Then there's a school principal and a member knowledgeable in educational mission and function of the facility. And I think where it's going to be a middle school, high school, that would be a middle school principal and the high school principal. Local budget official or member of our local finance committee, which we have. We have Dawn Kelleher. And Dawn, you're wishing to stay on the committee? Great. Members of community with architecture and/or engineering experience.
And our construction.
Oh yeah, and/or construction experience. So we will,
That's gonna be the hard one.
that's,
I have engineering experience, but I'm not in construction or civil engineering. I have a PhD in materials engineering. I make computer chips, basically.
Okay.
So
You
I
could-
don't
you
know
could
if that
do that. I
qualifies
can
or
do
not.
that.
okay.
I can satisfy.
Well, then the last category is other.
Great, Cliff's one of those, which is big.
So other is the last category, which is, and it doesn't state how many we're limited to on the committee, correct?
Correct.
But it does limit how many voting.
Does it?
Right.
It
Say that on here.
specifies that maximum number of voting.
So certainly, we don't want to decrease the size of the committee. Everybody here will be put in the other slot if they don't fulfill some of those other roles, but we will have to advertise for those other roles. So, as a group, if anyone doesn't wish to be on the committee, you should, talk to Chuck about, what's entailed as we rev up. And we will be moving forward. We got this special classification as a pilot school from the state, so we do need to keep the momentum. And Chuck and I and the superintendent had some discussion about the timeline, and that's going to be very important, almost working backwards. When would you bring this for an override vote? Because there are certain restrictions in the time. Once a feasibility study is done, you've got no more than 4 months to get it before the voters, and that's scary.
My question in this process is, how far can we go without having a building committee seated that fits within the requirements of MSBA?
Okay.
Because it's clear that this committee has to meet these categories because it says all members must be included. And so I'm reading that to mean that all of the specialty areas that they've listed here have to be included. Now, the administrator or manager, that would be Greg, because it says on the second page that refers to a town administrator, town manager.
Can people fill more than one role?
No, you
Because
can
he's
have.
also the MCPPO.
You can have more, it says you can have more than one person in the different categories. So you can have, say, 2 local chief executive officers or 2 school committee members, but but it doesn't say you can have one person fill the two roles. It says each role